Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. We've been getting tons of recommendations for one a cappella song in particular, so we're going to be returning to channel favorites Home Free and listening to Mayday. I've seen in the comments that there's something special about Tim and Adam Chance, so I'm really curious what that is, and I'm excited to get to dig into it. Mayday is a song originally by country artist Cam, and it's essentially about an unhealthy relationship that the person singing it feels that they can't get out of. So we'll look a little bit at the lyrics, but mostly we're going to do a really in-depth dive to the awesome a cappella vocals. Let's get to it.
You are overbearing, I'm not in love. I don't wanna tell you, but we've been contemplating how to give it up, but I can't convince you. We've been hopelessly holding too tight, but we don't even need to. And as the water fills this sinking ship, I know we have to leave too.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Tim Faust, the guy that's currently singing that high line, the lead, Tim is a bass. I'm really cracked up right now that he's singing the lead and everyone else is singing underneath him. That's just nuts to me. Listen to how clear his voice is up on top. Let's just go back to the beginning. Appreciate that this bassly man voice is basically singing a tenor line right now.
You are overbearing, I'm not in love. I don't wanna tell you, but we've been contemplating how to give it up, but I can't convince you. We've been hopelessly holding too tight, but we don't even need to. And as the water fills this sinking ship, I know we have to leave too.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Let's go back a little bit. Make sure you guys know who all these members are. Okay, so over here, we have Rob. Okay, Rob normally sings tenor. And back here you have Adam Rupp. He's the vocal percussionist. And then right here you have Adam Chance. So sometimes you just say Rupp and Chance, by the way. Chance sings baritone, but he can take over bass. So I think that the lowest notes that we're hearing right now are probably coming from Adam Chance, since Tim is singing the lead. And this is Tim, of course, in the center. And then you have Austin over here. So Austin is the highest voice in this group, normally. A really gorgeous high tenor on his end. The thing that I'm oohing and awing over, other than the fact that Tim had this really beautiful, very tenor, like a soothing line up on top, which was, again, very surprising from such a bass man voice. I really like the more subtle vocal percussion that Adam Rupp is adding. So he did like a, or like a, just kind of sound like, it sounded like a slight cymbal roll. Very, very cool. And he's using a softer sound, like almost like shaker sounds as well. You have just these stomps that are really making the kick sound, essentially. I wonder if that is accented in any way by mouth noises as well. I'm not sure. But it's very subtle percussion, very tasteful. It's a good way to not have a beat that feels like it's driving and into the meat of the song yet. It really helped us have rhythm, but not feel like there was nowhere left to go, essentially. So very creative and tasteful use of vocal percussion there. Let's go back a little bit. Oh, right there, I think.
We don't even need to. And as the water fills,
I like that little fry on his voice too. Yeah, even some toms in there in the vocal percussion too. Great harmony.
Mayday, Mayday, this is an emergency. Mayday, Mayday, you gotta let me leave. I'm lying here inches away, and you can't hear me call Mayday.
Wow. Oh, obviously, this is going to take a while to get through this song as I ooh and ah over the vocal intricacies. I love it. Love it. I was noticing it sounded like Austin went to falsetto at one point, but the falsetto in his voice is so close to his head voice. It's so, 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 so close. He blends them beautifully. Let me show you what I mean.
You gotta let me.
So that is all in head voice. Maybe have a little mix in there. So the top note there, that would be his falsetto. But again, some people refer to like mixing in other registers or even a mixed register, which isn't scientifically a thing, but it depends on who or what terminology you're following, really. So basically, the thing to tell you is that there is a really big shift in the larynx between the two registers he's using here, but he is blending them so closely that it's hard to even hear that. It's beautiful bridging. Bridging is the term for that.
Away, and you can't hear me call Mayday.
Wow.
Said I'm moving on 'cause things were getting rough, but here I am in your bed. I strung it on too long, afraid to be alone. Now we're in over our heads. It's either sink or swim. We've tried so many times for worse or for better. It tears my heart in two to leave it all behind and say goodbye forever.
Oh, I think that was Rob and Austin together. I love that they have two tenors who are so, so very strong in this group. Rob and Austin, they each have this character to their voice that is so very different, but the vocal mechanisms are so extraordinary. They're both just really fantastic. Rob's voice feels a little more wiser, has more character that feels like, I guess wiser is a good word. Maybe like has had gone through a little more life. It has some sincerity and a little bit of a different emotional depth to it. And Austin's feels a little more pure and young at heart often. So I love that they're able to combine these two tenors. And it sounded like we were about to maybe have them sing together. Rob also uses a little more fry in the sound. FYI, that's part of what makes it feel like a little more gristled or manly at times.
And say goodbye forever.
Nice production there. Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit about backing vocals here. They've had a really awesome on-beat and then syncopated pattern that's happened that often feels like we want to move into something dun 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 dun. That feeling, the syncopation is important to keep really tight in that pattern, which they're doing very well. A lot of times they're using various vowels and consonants that are more that sit easier behind the vocal as well. So this is a really good arrangement. Things like oohs or ohs tend to sit more behind the lead vocals. Dun 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 is a really good way to not a D sound instead of a T. D is voiced and the T tends to have a lot more air that'll pop through it. So using a D instead of a T will help it sit behind that as well. And dun 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 or dun 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 dun. Closing to an N is another way to have a sound that is still continuous underneath it, but it won't take over the lead vocal. So it has this soft rhythmic continuation. Now we would expect using in an a cappella situation like this, I would expect that this arrangement will essentially grow. And at some point we're going to get full blown out harmony, lots of ahs, and it'll feel a lot bigger simply because of how the backing vocals are changed. Let's keep going.
Mayday, Mayday, this is an emergency. Mayday,
I love that little cry he does there.
you gotta let me leave. I'm lying here inches away, and you can't hear me call Mayday.
interesting shift that just happened. So definitely one of the biggest places that you hear that shift is in the vocal percussion. You hear it having a really hard beat on 3 now. He's doing like a kind of sound, I think. So it's interesting to hear it's shifted. It feels more spacious instead of having 1 per beat or just on a downbeat, for example. It feels a little bit more spacious here. Let's go back over here. Yeah, Adam Rupp, get it. I also wanted to point out there was a really cool moment where it shifted the whoa, whoa, whoas to feel like they were all around. I love the production technique of that. It definitely felt like it gave it an extra bit of ear candy amidst the mix.
You can't hear me call Mayday.
So at that point, we still have that syncopated beat and a going at the same time, and it's going to switch right here. So we lost the syncopation in the main rhythmic outline at this point, and we have really strong 1 and 3s. And the beat on 3 is a much higher set of frequencies that it sounds like he's using as well to help highlight it. Let's go back again.
Hear me call Mayday.
Whoa.
You gotta let me leave. Oh, the weight will make.
Whoa. I think that Adam Chance is singing bass in most of this because Tim just saying "gotta let me leave," but I still heard some really bassy notes. Either that or he's layering himself as well here, which he might have done.
Oh, you gotta let me leave. Oh,
Right there.
the weight will make us sink. Oh, could you please help me leave? Oh, abandon
Nice.
ship with me. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was talking about. They sang the words all together and even ended on a yeah, which is a particularly bright vowel, particularly forward. So you had this option for Adam Rupp essentially to fill in with a drum fill and the percussion, and they're all singing the words together, which is going to make it feel much more climactic than one person on the lead, maybe another person harmonizing, and then dun 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 or oohs beneath. Check that out again.
Oh, abandon ship with me. Yeah.
Cool.
Mayday, Mayday, this is an emergency. Mayday, Mayday, you gotta let me leave alive.
Oh, deliciousness! I believe that this is, we're working on a B1 at this moment. That is really nice. I knew that Adam Chance could sing some bass, but that was solid. Let's listen to that again. I think it's hilarious that the bass solo is going to Adam Chance here. Not Tim, but Adam.
Mayday, Mayday, this is an emergency. Mayday, Mayday, you gotta let me leave.
I think they've also added some production to that low note that makes it feel particularly bass droppy. I mean, you have to have a good low note first of all. So it's not like you can just make that happen in production. It will sound super fake. That sounds real to me. But I think they double the voice right there, I think. Let's check it out.
This is an emergency. Mayday.
Got just one voice now.
Mayday.
Yeah. So I think on Day, they double his voice. Or they might have the main one still and just added one that had a lot more stereo verb happening in it, and essentially. Check that out one more time. That's a cool effect. I'm totally going to copy that effect sometime soon, just so you know. One more time.
This is an emergency. Mayday, Mayday. You gotta let me lead a life.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to talk a little bit more about one other thing that makes that moment so cool. And it is the vocal percussion moment that Adam Rupp does leading right up to that point. So he does a higher, like a shh kind of sound. That is a much higher in frequencies. Like that's going to be probably more around like 12,000, 13,000 hertz, I want to say. Maybe. Might be off on that.
This is an emergency.
But listen to it in just a bit.
Mayday.
So that means that we have something that's higher, actually higher than what anybody can sing in this group. That's higher than we can make with our vocal folds. And so it registers as like almost sibilant kind of noises. So that is so high that having that right before this drop and only having the low note after it makes it feel even more expansive and impressive.
Emergency. Mayday. Mayday. You gotta let me lead a lion here inches away. And you can't hear me call Mayday.
Oh, lovely extension there. I am really digging this counter melody that Rob is singing, and I love that they also decided it was so awesome that they were going to harmonize with him. This is really cool. You are overbearing. Right. Let's see. What are the words here? You are overbearing. I'm not in love, but I don't want to tell you. Mayday. Basically, the lyrics here, Mayday is a call for help from somebody who's saying they want to get out of the relationship, but they don't feel empowered to do that for whatever reason. They're stuck in it. You're overbearing. I'm not in love, but I don't want to tell you. So the person is fallen out of it, but they don't know how to communicate that to their partner. And Mayday is the call for emergency there. I like this. I really like this line that Rob sings. Let's see if we can get it here. Let's go back a little bit. I think that one of the reasons Home Free works so well together as an a cappella group is that their two tenors do have this really great contrasting timbre. They can blend together as well, but here they're singing very similar notes, but I still hear each of their voices individually. It's great to have that ability within a group like this. Really lovely. Okay, so clearly we're going to a fade out here. I really dig that they added this layer here with the harmony. Pretty dang awesome there. I really dig all of the extra layers that are in the vocal percussion as well. And I'm really curious. I would love to see the actual project of this, and I don't know if they use Pro Tools or Logic, whichever one they use, doesn't matter to me. I want to see with that bottom line with this do and the lowest notes, is that Adam that's in the produced version, Adam Chance, or is Tim singing the lowest note? I'm really, really curious at this point, especially since Tim started out on the lead. Normally, after he's finished that, we would expect for Tim to drop back down to the bass notes. But I'm curious, it sounded pretty seamless to me, so I'm curious if Adam Chance did take it over the whole time. obviously this is a music video, so we can't actually tell from this. We'd have to tell just by listening to the vocal timbre. And the two of them, I think, could have a very similar timbre down there, so I wouldn't know. Let's go back a little bit, see if you can figure it out. I'll try and figure it out too. I wouldn't be surprised if they also doubled the voices of some of those backing tracks. So meaning that they might have had them sing a second take of it and layered it on top just to get a little bit of a thicker feeling in the back. Let's one more time listen to that. Especially on the ooze. I mean, obviously, if you pause and you just count up how many tracks are being sung right now, it's more than the guys we see. There's people on oohs, there's people on doo-doos, dun-duns, and they're harmonizing in that as well. And you have Rob, I think it's Rob's voice that's layering in harmony. And and then you have different layers of vocal percussion too. There's a lot of layers that are happening here, but it is all just these guys that have made these layers up together. One last time, I promise. Oh, nice fill. I'm even more curious now about what their session looks like, meaning their recording session and their production. I wonder if they use different EQs on those singer voices to bring out different elements, like Rob's voice versus Austin's. Is there a different EQ that helps them have more of that beautiful contrast in two tenor voices? Of course, I'm curious about the vocal percussion EQ and what that production looks like. I think about things like boosting bass on kicks or that kind of thing. Anyhow, I'm really curious. I'm really, really curious about that. My overall impression of this song was, first of all, great arrangement. Such a fantastic beginning, having Tim take the lead at the beginning. His range is extraordinary. I'm so impressed by the way he manages to take out some of the weight of his voice and having this pure lead tenor-like tone up top. It's mind-boggling what that man's voice can do. Now, in addition to that, I feel like Adam Rupp is just this secret weapon in the group. His fills are amazing. The little tiny bits that he's always adding to heighten it, and things like that, that sound that was higher that happened right before Adam Chance's low note. Things like that heighten the overall performance so much more than I think most people will ever recognize. He's an absolute hero. I love them together as a group. Was really impressed by Adam Chance's low notes as well. Wow. Thank you for your recommendations of this. So many of you have been recommending this for so long, and I'm so happy that you did. I really enjoyed it. Please keep making recommendations down below. You know, I always feel like all vocal music is candy, so if you want to recommend more of that, I'd appreciate it especially. And come and find me sometime. I'm on YouTube at 8 a.m. Arizona time, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And I'm on Patreon, and you can also learn more about music or learn how to sing on my online courses at thecharismaticvoice.com. I'll see you guys somewhere soon.